Illinois could make it easier to smoke pot in public, and Iowa moves closer to protecting chemical companies from lawsuits. We'll get into both of those things this morning with Scott County Democratic Party Chair Kay Pence and former Rock Island County Republican Party Chair Bill Bloom. Great to see you both as always. Let's start right away with Iowa. A familiar proposal is working its way through Des Moines. It's SSB 1051. Now, the bill would block people in Iowa who have severe conditions like cancer from suing pesticide companies because they didn't provide enough warnings about the health risks from it. Now, the measure says companies with labels that comply with federal regulations provide enough warning. The company Bayer is the driving force behind the proposal. It makes the commonly used pesticide Roundup. The same measure passed the state Senate last year but stalled in the House. It cleared a Senate subcommittee so far and still needs to clear the full committee before going to the Senate floor, then possibly moving to the House for consideration. I guess what good comes from this for the people of Iowa, Bill Bloom?
I think Iowa's an agricultural state, and Roundup, regardless of what the legal community thinks of it, has actually resulted in greatly improved yields. The law basically says that if you're in compliance with the EPA, that's sufficient. And if you look at the EPA requirements for labeling, they go into the risks of using chemical, they go into storage of it, application of it. So they're very detailed, they're very comprehensive. And what Iowa's doing is basically saying that, okay, if you're doing that, then you're basically doing everything you need to do with a chemical that's basically registered and recognized by the Environmental Protection Agency. So I think what Iowa gets out of it is access to chemicals they need for their agricultural industry, and I also think it'll help hold down the cost by avoiding excessive litigation on companies that provide those services.
Kay Pence, same question. What good does this do for the people of Iowa potentially?
I don't think it does anything good for the people of Iowa. This is a constitutional freedom versus corporate control bill. I mean, commonly referred to as the Cancer Gag Act. And the World Health Organization has listed glyphosate, which is the primary ingredient in Roundup, as a probable human carcinogen back in 2015. And, Bayer, who manufactures Roundup, is also a leading cancer drug supplier for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And if Iowa passed this law, we would be the only state in the union where farmers and their workers do not have protections in case the labeling is flawed. And we know that for smoking, the first link to cancer was 1900, but it was 65 years before the labeling was required on the packages for cigarettes, and another 45 years before they banned smoking inside. So most people don't necessarily trust what's on a label, and we know how hard industry fights to keep stuff off labels.
Illinois state lawmakers are considering their own smoking gun, if you will. House Bill 3513 would clear the way for more opportunities to smoke marijuana in public. It would let counties and other local governments issue licenses for special events and so-called cannabis hospitality locations where it's okay to use marijuana. Basically, let people smoke pot with their friends at these events. Right now, it's okay to do it in private. The industry's proven to be big money for Illinois in terms of tax revenue, more than $400 million in 2023. How would allowing this be good for the people of Illinois, besides this one segment that likes to partake? Kay Pence.
Well, generally I support local control, but again, going back to cigarette smoking, we know that secondhand smoke is harmful, and it causes more than 7,300 cancer deaths a year. And as far as an indoor venue, there are a lot of people there that perhaps the workers that do not choose to breathe the smoke, and so that portion of it I would be opposed to.
Bill Bloom, how could this be for the people of Illinois?
I just shake my head when I look at Illinois, and that's I think what it basically does, I think it's another revenue source for the state of Illinois. Basically, if you look at Iowa, if you look at Illinois and you look at price of gas, the price of groceries, the income tax rate, the cost of living in Illinois, And then you throw this in, I mean, a business has to buy a license to allow people to smoke marijuana on premises. And then if you're going to have a public event, it has to buy another permit for that. And you look at all these taxes and all these applications, all the bureaucracy that's in Illinois, and it's sort of like saying, yeah, that's true, our state's in a lot of trouble. It's having a lot of, it's losing a lot of businesses and everybody's struggling, but what do you say we just go out and smoke some J's together?